In regards to the 23-8 rule, how did you end up at the 8% number? I can understand that the 20% down in the 3 years help mitigate depreciation on the car and time out of the market, but I'm curious how you landed on the 8%. Would you like to explain yourselves?
Let me think through. All right, so I'm trying to go back because there are a lot of rules of thumb out there, and you can go like Google like car buying rules of thumb and you'll get a bunch of different answers from a bunch of different people. For all the rules that we design and all the things that we come up with try to help you, what we try to do is take a rule of thumb or a commonality or something that's like general guidance, but we want to apply like real worldness to it. We want to apply, okay, how does this actively play out, and what is this like in my life, in my situation, the situation of the clients with whom we work? And
can I say something though?
Yeah.
Is that, look, without a doubt, is because it is more of an encompassing, because we know there's other debts, and I always was thinking about, we have these other rules, but there was just a tinge of, the double digit. And I guess we could have put 9% if we wanted to give a little more. But I just did not want car loans to be a double-digit part of your life because they're just horrible already for your financial life. So why in the world would you want a double-digit obligation that's depreciating the moment you drive it off the lot?
So yes, that's exactly where we were going. In terms of reverse engineering, we're thinking about what are most people faced when they are, because remember, 23-8 is the stage of your life, stage of your financial journey where you're probably not at the ability to pay cash for an automobile yet. You need to finance in order to have some sort of reliable transportation. Well, most often in those stations and seasons of life, there are other things pulling on you. In addition to maybe having a car payment, you might also have graduated with some sort of student loan debt. You probably have a mortgage. You might have people like children or spouses or whatever pulling on the resources that you're created. And so we didn't want the car to be something that took your wealth building journey off track. And so we just kind of sat down and said, all right, there's common rule of thumb, 10%, what's that look like? It seems too aggressive. And if you have these other things going on, and we want you to be aspiring to save 25%. When we think about, okay, how much is housing? How much is saving? How much is giving? How much is taxes? How much are these different things? It wasn't exactly a plug number because, again, we wanted to be realistic. I mean, we could have said 23.2 and you could have like an incredibly affordable automobile. We wanted to be realistic, but we also wanted it to be practical and prudent so that you could actually get a car that you could actually afford and still be able to meet and satisfy all of your other financial goals. So I'd like to tell you there's some magical, like incredibly well thought out mathematics to the 8. It was much more reverse engineering to see what practically makes sense and what was our experience as we were coming through the early years of our wealth building journey.
Look, the typical car buyer these days, when you look at the annual stats, we're getting close to 80 months on the financing. We're getting to over $700 a month in car payments. The majority of people are doing cars with negative equity, meaning that they made such a bad deal on the last car that they drove that they're having to roll the loan balance into the new car. So America needs somebody to be hard with them on these car purchases because they're literally driving their wealth around instead of building that wealth to build finances. So, yeah, we took a hard line. I didn't want it to be double digits. I also wanted to make sure, but there's also the tipping point the other way, whereas I know there's clunkers out there that, yeah, maybe it'd be best if you bought a $1,000 car, but is a $1,000 car going to, or a $5,000 car, even be something that you can get that's going to safely get you or even put your family into. And that's where, when we played around, because we are nerdy, and I'm willing to say, yes, there is some math in this, that this is where we landed. Because I felt like if you coordinated this with all the other debt rules, you'll see that this is going to balance itself out. And also, remember we had that person a few weeks ago try to break. He added up all these different rules that we have. And I said, what this person is not taking into account is that your life in your 20s is going to look different than your life in your 40s. And you're definitely the 30s and your messy middle. And that's what I love is car loan debt is typically something that you're going to experience probably in your 20s, maybe even 30s as you're getting started. But financial mutants don't even have car debt because as you get into your 40s and beyond and life starts feeling a little easier, you're going to be paying cash because cash is preferred. But this is going to be the rule. It's going to be that bridge that lets you get to that first wealth building tool, which is your JOB.
And remember, 8% is the upper threshold. 23.8 does not mean that you can only put down 20%, that you must pay it off over 3 years, or that it has to get 8%. Those are the end of the threshold. You can put more down, you can finance it for a shorter period of time, or it could only represent 3 to 4% of your income. Those are the like upper thresholds, the upper limits. Anything less than that or better than those is absolutely fantastic. With the best being obviously paying cash for a car.